Hello and welcome to Grumpy Gamers. You're here this week with me, Ben, and alongside me I have Eddie.
Hello.
And that's it. That's it again. We've had a lot of these two-man shows for recently, haven't we?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I wasn't to blame if that's what you're getting down there.
Actually, the two that you were on, they were legit. You booked in the holiday. You put it.
I even booked in the Grumpy Calendars. No, Grumpy Gamers calendar. That's a difficult one to say.
Popped it in there. It's fine. You booked the time off. You submit it to your line manager. I said that's fine,
and it was approved.
And
yeah,
and it was. Yeah, absolutely. Just sent that right back to you. That's okay, Eddie. Thank you for the heads up.
Pete just pulls sickies.
Yeah, Pete just on the morning, just like, no, can't do it.
It was, what? It's a perfect excuse because I thought you said like, "Oh, are you having technical issues?" And he went, "Yes, but also I'm sick." I was like, "Wow, double
yes."
combo.
Because this is the thing. Like, we thought maybe his internet wouldn't hold up because he's had some. Last couple of days he hasn't been able to get on the internet, so that was an issue, and then he doubled down with an illness
just in case.
There's no coming back.
Ben found a way of checking his internet or something.
Just in case, I was like, let's check the hotspot, see how that works. Just in case, he just went bam, illness. Right, okay, that's great.
Yeah,
it's great. Doctor's note? No, siree, because it's day one. It's day one of the illness. You're not getting a doctor's note at day one.
Yeah, you'll feel better tomorrow.
Absolutely, it'll be right as rain. Rita's rain. But anyway, we jest. Right, we will be going through the news, the new releases, which no, that doesn't. Oh.
What's happening? Are you going to say it includes Bayonetta and Modern Warfare?
I was actually going to say, which includes A Plague Tale. No, it doesn't, because that's in what we've been playing. But yes, Bayonetta is included in the new releases.
Yeah.
But yes, we're going through what we've been playing, which does include A Plague Tale, Requiem, and then our feature this week, which is on unpopular gaming opinions. And we have got some delivered to us on Twitter as well from listeners and people on Twitter in general, and they are quite fun. So we're going to go through, see what we agree with, see what we disagree with. So look forward to that one. But first of all, we'll go through the quick news, which starts with Pokemon, which comes out in a couple of weeks, the new open world RPG. Scarlet and Violet, which that nerd Dead Pete Punk pointed out last week after the show that I called Ruby and Sapphire, so whatever. But there were previews this week which talked about some quite disheartening performance issues.
Oh. So
it's a bit annoying. Pokemon is like that though, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, as long as they have voice acting, that's all that we all care about.
Yeah, I think it's almost like a refusal from Game Freak to just spend the masses of money they're making in just, getting more developers and upgrading and expanding and all this kind of stuff. But anyway, if you want to read more into that, go to Nintendo Life, because they have a YouTube video and an article on it as well. So hopefully there'll be some patches. Hopefully it won't interfere with the gameplay too much. It is Pokemon. We kind of look past it. So... I don't want to be that guy, but we will look past it. Next one, previews of Ragnarok. Kind of previews that people have been playing Ragnarok, so reviewers have got this early, and I don't really know how they're kind of talking about it because of NDA and embargo and all that kind of stuff, but some people have come out and said a few different things, not specifically to the game, but just like how it feels, like this feels like a PS4 game, or... this doesn't feel like a continuation, or it's the best game ever. Like, there has been a range. Now, if you listen to anybody who's very PlayStation centric, the taglines that they may have picked up may have been best game ever, feels amazing, this is going to be this, that, or ever, like such high praise. Yeah. And then on the other side, there are some people that are saying it's feels very much a continuation, feels like a PS4 game, blah, 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 blah. The take home from this is that the internet is fucking crazy. So if you like God of War, this is going to be a fucking banger. So it's going to be great. So I think it's probably be more of the same, a bit of a evolution, and there's no doubt in my mind that this is going to be a top draw game, and it's going to be in the conversation for Game of the Year.
Ooh. Game of the Year conversation, do you think?
Yes, I mean, it's got this in people's mind is going to be the rival to Elden Ring, and whether it does actually hold up or not, I think there will be enough hype around this and enough positive review scores to make it feel like that anyway. So, but it certainly is the one that people are pinning on as the only real contender to Elden Ring. I think
Are you going to get it?
Yeah, I mean, I make the joke often that I'm way more excited for Sonic than I am God of War. But obviously I will buy God of War day one and I will be playing it. And I really liked the first God of War. I really, really did like it. I just didn't like it after the first time. Yeah. It was awful to play for another time through. It was awful to watch people play it on Twitch. It's awful. But that first time was actually quite cool. So I did try and watch a Twitch streamer, Miss Mika, who's playing it on Dance Mat at the moment. I tried to watch her play it the other day.
On Dance Mat?
Yeah, because she just completed Elden Ring on Dance Mat as well.
No way, that's insane. Yeah. How are people? I've seen that guy with a recorder play Modern Warfare, and he's better than me.
Yes. Yeah, well, but I mean, she on Elden Ring, she did it level 1 as well. She did it first of all just on the Dance Mat, then she did level 1 run, so not leveling up.
Wow.
And still did it on the Dance Mat. So now she's moved on to God of War and she's doing that. I was watching it and I was like, this is fun and all because of the Dance Mat thing, but I don't enjoy watching it. But anyway, this is going to be a good game. It's going to be a banger. And people were saying this, that, and the other on the internet, but the internet's fucking crazy. So let's move on. Football Manager 2023 Early Access is out. Did you know that, Eddie?
Early Access, isn't it?
Yeah, Early Access. So the Game Pass version obviously comes when it comes out in November. I think it's like the 7th or the 8th of November, something like that. But the Early Access version is out now, so you can buy it full price on Steam or wherever you buy your PC games, and you can play it from now. Your save progress will carry over to the new game, but it does mean that any patches that they might put in for day one wouldn't carry on to your game, I don't think. So
what do you mean by that? Oh, sorry, if you play it in early access, God, I got excited that maybe the 2022 version carried over. That would have been awesome.
No. But I have been watching it being played on Twitch, so
I'm in the same lonely 2 weeks as I was this time last year, if you remember me saying, of knowing that the new one's coming out in 2 weeks' time.
Yes.
So I don't really give a shit about my game that I'm playing right now. Which is a shame, because I think I'm on season 12 or something, and I should really care because I'm close to getting the Milan job, but I just don't give a fuck.
Oh, it's the worst feeling, isn't it? Because Football Manager, because it is every single year, I haven't started. I had a real urge to play Football Manager about 2 months ago, and I thought, no, what's the point? I can't do it because the new one's going to come out and I'll just forget it. So
I shouldn't complain about this, but I think in the olden days, before Game Pass, it used to be fine because I would never even look at the new Football Manager when it came out because obviously the price tag.
Yes.
So I would, I reckon if I've got my Steam up. Yeah, it looks like I buy it every 2 years by the looks of it. Yeah. Every 2 years I bought it because then
that makes sense. Yeah. Because the iterations aren't usually much more. This does look a bit more of an evolution than the last one was, maybe. I don't know. They're so minimal in terms of their changes. What is good on this one is the Champions League stuff. And it plays the music and everything. So that's cool.
Oh, very cool.
I mean, so that means you'll pop your headphones in for one time. You'll listen to the music and
take them out again.
Right. And when it's and it does the draw as well, the Champions League draw.
Oh, cool. What is it, like a cutscene then?
No, I think it's more just all the graphics are there, so it pulls it out of the I think it puts a bit of effort in. Obviously, once you've seen it once, you'll just click draw all teams.
Yeah, like all the new features of the last one, where I just do not use. Yeah,
absolutely. But That one, Game Pass day one. So do not overlook that one. Then we had this is a big quick news, so not so quick. Resident Evil, there was a showcase this week, and they showed gameplay from Resident Evil 4, the remake that's coming out, and it looks dark, scary, and it looks fucking awesome, to be honest. And it's a massive change of tone from the original, and it looks incredible. I don't know if you saw anything about this, Eddie, but it looks fucking
Resident Evil,
wicked.
so no.
I know you're not interested. But yeah. Well, the Resident Evil 4 is obviously the action type Resident Evil, where they shifted focus to a more action kind of game, and even in that, like, the clouds on Resident Evil 4, like, it was all kind of brown. It was like a brown.
I'm gonna look it up because I've played a lot of them. So
yes, I haven't played Resident Evil 4 either. Resident Evil 4 was one that kind of slipped through the net for me, I think, at the time. But I came back in at 5, and I played 7 and 8. I played 2 and 3, and I played 1. Yeah, so just not 4 pretty much. But it looks fantastic, this remake. It looks graphically awesome. The tone, the setting looks wonderful. But not only that, they showed off the Resident Evil 8 DLC, Shadows of Rose, which is out on the 28th of this month. So for fans of Resi 8, there's that lovely DLC which was always talked about, and there's a third-person mode that's been added to the game, and there's a demo for it out now.
So, there you go. Resi Evil fans are happy.
I mean, I thought Resident Evil 8 was bad. But there we go.
That's the city one, isn't it, with the werewolves and shit? And Lady Dimitrescu.
It was yes, it was that one. And it wasn't scary. It wasn't scary. They went more towards a Resi 4. And to be honest, in how they're releasing the Resident Evil games, that makes sense, doesn't it? Because they had 7, which was very scary game, into 8, which was less scary, more actiony, into Resident Evil 4 Remake, which is obviously where they return to that action stuff. And they probably thought, you know what will sell better? A more action-orientated game. So I get it. And Resident Evil 8 has done very well. So
I'm surprised they haven't gone down, like, 2 different routes. Instead of, like, just chopping and changing between scary and action, maybe just gone, I don't know, Resident Evil something, and then gone 1, 2, 3, 4. And
they have had a lot of spin-offs.
Yeah, so why didn't they just do, I don't know, another word for action or another word for scary, like Resident Evil Horror 1, and then so at least then gamers know, like, because I can't stand horror games, but I like action games. So.
Yes, it is weird because we've always said this, and we've talked about it before, and Kirk's a Resident Evil fan as well and stuff. It's like they went through this period of just not knowing what type of game to make.
Yeah,
it was very, and Resident Evil 5 is just so different to the rest of, like, they all feel fucking different. And then you get back to 7 and you're like, oh, this is scary, back being scary, and it's first person, and you're like, whoa, that's weird. Yeah. But then they remake 2 and 3, and they're fantastic old school Resident Evils. Like, yeah, it's like they revel in their identity crisis as opposed to before, when it was like, well, what type of game is Resident Evil now? What franchise is Resident Evil? Like Resident Evil 6, I know fucking nothing about that game. I kind of like dropped off a cliff. I don't have a fucking clue about that. So yeah, it's but they seem to be reveling in it now and going down this action route for the time being, but changing it and making it more scary in Resident Evil 4. So let's see how that game actually pans out, whether that's more of a hybrid as opposed to pure action like before.
Yeah.
But then talking about action games, the Callisto Protocol has been confirmed to have a 60 FPS mode, because that's something that needs to be confirmed now after last week, after both Gotham Knights and then In the Shadows covering their head, a Plague Tale going, oh shit, oh god, there's a massive backlash over there, let's not get involved. So after both those games with 30 frames per second on the consoles, Callisto Protocol just came out and said, yeah, we're 60 FPS. Now, if the Callisto Protocol, but if the Callisto Protocol comes out seamlessly and it has a nice positive launch, like I put on Twitter not long ago, like this seems like the most seamless game. Like they showed it, then they showed gameplay, They showed another trailer, another gameplay. They confirmed that it's got all the graphical settings. They released the game. Like, it's like they didn't like. It's just
they even did that. The like, I don't know what you'd call it, like a demo where they went through
the dev demo thing.
Yes, that's
absolutely.
It. Yeah, that was brilliant. That was
absolutely. It's like they've done everything perfectly. I wonder if it's.
We did a feature probably a couple of months ago, didn't we? About like what, and I think I came up with it because I'm fed up with everyone doing such shit publicity before a game releases. But our like perfect release of a game. Yes, and I think these guys have done bloody brilliant. Yeah.
They've absolutely nailed it. They've nailed that time schedule thing, haven't they? Of like talking about because I remember last Christmas, I think it was Kirk and myself with the Offshore guys talking about games coming up in the next year, and we were saying and with Dylan from the Offshore, we did one earlier before all the game season earlier in the middle of this year, like talking about what we wanted to see. And Callisto Protocol was one of those where it was kind of like this thing that had been mentioned and it looked really cool, but we didn't really know about it. And then all of this like wealth of information came out about it, and they just kept showing it off and kept showing the gameplay, and like they just fucking nailed it. So let's just fingers crossed that they see it through to the start of December when it gets released. But it's shaping up to be something really praised. And another good thing about Callisto Protocol, it's like 45 quid. Like for a new
70 quid for Dead Space.
Exactly. So for a new game, like it's shaping up real nice.
Really good, that. Yeah.
But yeah, that's the end of the old quick news for the week.
All right, cool. I will go first because I've got the biggie. Bayonetta boycott situation reaches a conclusion. If you remember, it was last week we were talking about this, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. It was.
Basically, for those of you who haven't listened to it, go back and listen to it. But also,
no need to recap. Fucking listen to it.
Yeah, basically the Bayonetta voice actress, the original, was very upset that she wasn't offered a big enough money to do the new Bayonetta 3. But anyway, Bloomberg reported that the figure was actually 3 to 4K for 4 to 5 sessions. That's a session each, by the way. Approximately 15 hours worth of work. She wanted a 6-figure sum, plus royalties, which will probably whack that way up. They said no and offered her a cameo for 4K as like a thank you. That's when she went on the internet and went mental and said that everyone needs to boycott Bayonetta, etc., etc. The internet then turned on her, including me. And then Platinum Games probably accidentally leaked some contract offers, etc., to dispute the claims. So basically it kind of looks like she's lied, doesn't it, Ben?
It does. And she's done herself no favours in the last 24 hours by basically coming out on Twitter and pretending that she's just being consistent with everything she's saying, but then she kind of confirmed that she was offered. So the story of events, as her tweets in the last 24 hours have said, is that she was offered, I think, $10,000, and then
which prior to she said 4K, right? Do I remember that?
Yes, correct. So she had said on her video last week, she'd said that she was offered 4K to do Bayonetta, which technically is not untrue, but what she was talking about was this cameo.
Well, no, it is very untrue. I mean,
yeah, okay. With an omission of fact,
in the court of law, you could argue that she was not factually incorrect.
Yes, that's what I'm going for.
Right.
Yes,
Fine.
You've nailed it. Right. So it would appear that she was offered 10K to do the game, where she said she received 3,000 and 4,000 to do the first 2 games, supposedly. But she was offered 10K. She went back to the games director and said, "I don't think this is right. Maybe a bit more or whatever." And they upped it by 5K to 15,000. And she refused. And then it went. Then I think for 9, I think it was like 11 months went past or something. Then they offered her this 4K for a cameo, which I don't think she'd realised that she'd then just been replaced. So I think, and she said there wasn't like extensive negotiations or anything like that. And I think that, it was probably that maybe there was a bit of lost in translation going on and all this kind of stuff. So, what's happened is she shouldn't have. Don't go on the internet. Don't say, because the internet finds out if things aren't entirely factually correct.
Yeah.
Things. Platinum may have accidentally leaked some of that stuff, like, because earlier in the week it was contested, like it was pretty contested early on, where it's like, oh no, because Bloomberg reported it and Jason Schreier was like, yeah, okay, but this is actually the case, but the thing is, if she'd come out and said, oh, I'm going to get paid, I was offered 15k, people may have gone, oh, that's low, blah 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 blah. The issue that was there was that she said, oh, 15k is too low, or even if when she said 4k it's too low, but nobody's really asking we did last week. Our podcast last week actually aged very well, but must say, but well, what does that entail? Like, it turns out it's like 15 hours work. That's like 2 days work. Yeah, like that. Yeah, that's fine. Like, for 15k for 2 hours for 2 days, like, that's awesome money. I understand it. I think she's pissed off because of a number of things, like her voice being used in Smash Brothers, like little snippets of the Bayonetta stuff being used in Smash Brothers, not getting any royalties for other things. And I kind of get that, and maybe there was a bit more contract negotiating to do. But if you had radio silence for 11 months, you have to kind of assume that you're not doing it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
And we did say last week, like, the issue is, you kind of, if you do kick off or you do want more, you do ask for more, they probably just go, nobody cares. Nobody cares if you're doing this or not. Like, nobody cares if you're voicing this character.
She, the way she communicates on Twitter, it's almost like she thinks that she is an unbeatable goddess. Do you know what I mean? She is like a huge figure.
Yes.
She's not.
Well, yeah, there's two things to that. She's never voiced anyone else, and I doubt anyone knew who she was before this.
No, that's what I mean. And the problem is, I don't want to be mean, but she's not painted herself in a good light now. No. So she's probably not helping any future jobs come in.
Well, Eddie, she's never had another job in this as a voice actor.
Fair enough. Yeah, I guess.
Like, I know she talked about all that trading she'd done and all that kind of stuff. That's fine. But as a video game voice actress, you've only done Bayonetta. So.
Oh, the one that's replaced her, she's done everything, hasn't she?
She's done everything.
Jeez, yeah.
she's a rock star in comparison. She's a fucking rock star. So yeah, it's I do think that the internet jumps on people and all this kind of stuff, and she just lost credibility. And as soon as you lose credibility, then you lose the whole thing. It doesn't matter whether she has a proper, viable argument for this. There are two sides to the story, and the company will think one thing, she will be thinking another. There's probably a little bit lost in the conversation between the two parties, but the internet will now forever think that she's a liar.
Well, I think the rule is, if you're going to go mental on the internet, maybe keep your facts fucking perfect, because people are going to find out and you're going to look really, really bad.
I know, that was kind of Kirk's point, wasn't it? Kirk's point earlier on our chat, like that, you got to be transparent, and like there's two sides to this. You don't have to be transparent, because this should not be in the public domain. Like, don't put it, but she put it in the public domain, so Kirk's right, it needs to be transparent, like, because that's not how the internet works. But certain people did immediately boycott or not really question anything, and as we were kind of saying early last week, you don't know, we didn't really know much about voice actors' pay. We didn't know how many lines were going to be in this game. We didn't even know, like, what involvement she'd have. How long would that take? Is that 5 hours, 10 hours? Like, I was just I'm a consultant. I put it equate it to my work. If I got paid if I got paid $4,000 for 1 day, let's say, that That's incredible.
You'd be happy.
That's just, yeah, I'd be.
You wouldn't be going on the internet and complaining.
No, I would not be going on the internet, and I would also not be asking for royalties. But also, there's no. We haven't heard anything in terms of this. What she was asking for. One of her issues, I think, in how it came across was that she mentioned about this living wage thing, didn't she?
Oh yeah.
She said like, "Oh, I'm just asked to be paid what I'm worth and a living wage." I don't really understand what that means in this circus. If you're going to record for a couple of hours or maybe 15, 16 hours, a couple of days work, 15k is living wage. That's
good.
Mighty. That's a mighty living wage.
Depends how you're living, but
where are you living? Where are you living? I mean, maybe there's questions to be asked.
That's her argument. She has to stay in Hollywood to, stay relevant. And
that is true. She is a prolific voice actress.
She's one of the best around, I believe, according to her Twitter.
That's what I can only assume. Anyway, that's enough. That's that. It's done. It's concluded.
Yeah.
Is coming out. It's in the new releases.
Is that going to be everything of that? Do you reckon this is going to be in the news next week?
I don't know, man. I don't know. What I will say is that I reckon Bayonetta pre-orders have gone up loads because of this.
Well, they say, isn't it, any press is good press. And this is not good press, but it's...
But would you be thinking about Bayonetta in any way, shape or form before this?
Not at all.
We would not have really mentioned it.
Me and Pete are boycotting getting it because of this situation.
You are boycotting.
Yes.
Yeah, you are fully boycotting.
It might be because we had no interest in the game, but it also might be because, we really want to support our voice actors here.
Oh, obviously. Yeah. You're doing your bit.
Yeah. Just like Kirk and his Activision ban.
Yeah. He confirmed that he's bought the new Modern Warfare 2.
Brilliant.
So I guess it's going well.
It's difficult where you draw the line with your bands, isn't it?
Yeah. That line has been fading for a while. We know that. And Kirk, as you're listening to this, he's going, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. He played fucking Spyro anyway, didn't he?
I know, and Crash Bandicoot, and then I pointed out their Activision games, and he was like, yeah, but they're older.
They're older. Right, fine.
Right, okay, yeah, they're made in a different time. Anyway, Activision must have cleaned up their internal record because Kirk is on the case and he's bought Modern Warfare 2. So
nice. And that's a pricey one, isn't it?
It is a pricey one, but the campaign is reviewing really well.
Oh, nice.
Because you can... If you buy Modern Warfare now digitally, you get it on early access, but you only get the campaign on early access. Multiplayer and the op stuff comes in at the end of the week when it actually comes out proper.
Right.
And then Warzone comes mid next month.
Oh yeah.
So, but if you're interested in the campaign and that's what you were getting it for, then you can actually you can get it digitally early. So the reviews of the campaign are looking really good, and people are saying it's excellent. And I for one am looking forward to how this handles, because I feel like the gameplay is supposedly slower and more realistic in that way. So
that would be cool.
It's they've got rid of slide cancelling. So.
Oh, I know, the most ridiculous bit. And I did say, if you listened to a podcast like 6 months ago, I mean that's the one thing now that I cannot stand about the game. So very happy.
Yeah. When you on the rare occasion when you're dead and I'm not, and you have to watch me slide cancel everywhere, it makes you furious.
Yeah. Oh my lord. What a nightmare. I tell you what, the big streamers, I only watch Stone Mountain and he doesn't do it. Do the big streamers
Does he not? Do everyone slide cancels, yeah, because it's the best for movement. And it makes you harder to hit and
I know, but it's very horrible to watch.
Yeah, it is disgusting. Yeah.
It's disgusting, yeah.
Especially watching me on screen because I am erratic.
Oh god, and your sensitivity's like 50, so it's honestly. Oh.
I'm a sensitive guy. I have it on max for everything.
That's correct.
That's why I'm more of a spray and pray type of guy. Right, moving on to my story. Silent Hill. It's actually before the Resident Evil one. I think Silent Hill had a showcase of their own. So finally, we got some Silent Hill announcements. So for fans of the series, which I'm not really a massive fan, but I will be buying games obviously for it. But not massive fan, but there are massive fans out there, and finally got some. So there is a Silent Hill 2 remake that has been officially announced. We kind of heard, we've said this a number of times, but being made by Blooper Team, we even mentioned it last week. But yet that's coming. They made The Medium, which we mentioned last week as well. I quite liked, but the story was the issue. Now, the good thing about making a Silent Hill 2 remake is you don't have to do the story. So I reckon this could be I'm quite optimistic about this. Blooper Team doing this remake, which looked nice from the little that we saw.
Yeah.
Alongside this, we have a film called Return to Silent Hill that's based on that game as well, and it's going to be really close to the game.
Nice.
In terms of story, so that's quite good. Casting is still ongoing though, so I think that's still going to be a while, and you'd think they would come out relatively close to each other, maybe.
Yeah.
Film, maybe game first. I don't know. So it might suggest it's a bit of time away. But yeah, I'm hoping it could be 2023 though. Could be, but we didn't get any dates on any of this stuff. So
the problem is with movies about games though, is if they're done right, they're bloody brilliant. But otherwise, they're normally pretty shite, and they're good. By the way.
Yeah, they are normally pretty shite, aren't they? There are some exceptions in recent times, but ones that are actually like lifelike ones like this, like because I was thinking like the Sonic films based on Sonic, obviously they're quite good. Hoping that the Mario film's going to be quite good stuff, but they're like different. They're like kind of cartoony ones, but I don't know. There haven't been any exceptional. Like the Resident Evil films were okay.
I mean, I actually really like Silent Hill, the movie.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
Yeah, and it had some brilliant. Obviously, it had Sean Bean in it. So
yeah,
and Sean Bean didn't die in it. Holy shit! Is that the first one ever?
Shit, that's a quiz. It's a quiz question.
Oh yeah, save that one.
Save it.
Listeners, forget that, because that's going to be one of our features.
Films that Sean Bean didn't die in.
It's a weird feature, but I'll make it work.
It's an odd one. So there was also... Well, there's plenty of games, actually. There was another new game called Silent Hill Townfall, made by No Code and Annapurna Interactive, who... They're a great developer, who usually do those like middle-sized games, so they're not quite indies, they're not quite AAAs, so they're the ones that we term Andies. Not much was shown of it, but that is also coming, so it's another Silent Hill game. Then they announced that there was something called Silent Hill Ascension, and that's supposed to be something quite different, some kind of live, interactive, real-time experience, and J.J. Abrams is involved.
Wow, holy shit.
Yeah, big bloody name, right? So who knows what that actually means or what that's going to do, but it is a thing. And then finally, they showed Silent Hill F, which I assume is quite far away, but they had like this cool like trailer thing of this girl. There was a girl walking through and like some creepy stuff happening, and it's set in 1960s Japan. Yeah,
what does that look like? I couldn't even tell you what that looks like.
Well, it was a Japanese character, so that's how I can
brilliant.
tell.
Yeah, I would have guessed that much.
That's what it looks like, yeah. So, nailed it. But I'm assuming that one's the furthest one away because it was at the end of the presentation. So, but it seems like they've taken a leaf out of CD Projekt Red's book, haven't they, and just announced a shit ton of games all at once.
Yeah, it's good.
So
I like it.
But if you're a Silent Hill fan, though, I mean, I tell you what, this presentation was really good, and I like the fact that Ubisoft have done it recently with Assassin's Creed as well.
Yeah, they
so
announced
Ubisoft,
all those assistants.
Yeah, you had all the Assassin's Creed games. Yeah, so you had Ubisoft, you had CD Projekt, and you've had Konami here do this, like just unveiling a load of games all at once, and I quite like that. You know, it kind of sets your stall out, doesn't it, and just goes like, yeah, this is what we're doing.
Yeah, not bad. It gets you excited about, especially when they're different kind of games. Then yeah, it does get you excited.
Yeah, all made by different people as well. And the good thing about this is Konami have probably gone like, oh yeah, like we're Konami, people know who we are, but truth be told, we're probably quite shit at making games now. So we're going to get other people to make games for us.
Wow.
I think that's a brilliant. They've gone, look,
They never at any point said they were shit at making games.
I'm sure they sat down the board table
Let's
and they went,
all
right,
be truthful to each other.
Yeah, truth time. They went, guys, like we got Silent Hill, right? We're going to wheel that one back out, are we? And then somebody just goes, we're not going to do it, are we? We're pretty shit.
We're old
right?
news, aren't we, guys?
We're pretty garbage at that now. Yeah, we are. Yeah, so let's get Blooper Team in. So yeah, okay. I reckon they've done a good job there.
Right,
and they can always blame it on those development teams.
Exactly.
That's 200 IQ. So. Moving us on, that's the news. That's the news for the week.
Brilliant. Right. Well, someone remember to tag Konami in this podcast. I'd love to hear their opinion.
Konami admit they're shit at making games.
Fuck's sake. Right. New releases.
Fly on the wall at the boardroom. So, yeah.
New releases. Scrolling down, we've got a few here. It looks like another good week. You know,
there's a few goodies.
All these people saying that this year's been a bad year of gaming. I mean, every week has been good, hasn't it?
Oh, honestly, now I live in pure excitement because there are games just like fucking everywhere. Yeah. Like, this is an amazing time to be a gamer.
The past 2 years, when I've gone through these sections and looked at things coming out, it's always been like anywhere between 5 and 7, and there's one good one, and the rest are kind of falling by the wayside. But apart from a couple of weeks after the big releases in February, where it did go a bit quiet, apart from that, it's always been a lot of good things.
I did have a bit of a after February, March.
Yeah, but that's fair enough, because no one wants to release their games around. Oh, there was loads of ones at Dying Light.
Because there were so many good ones. Yeah.
Elden Ring.
That. And then after that, they released all the big ones, and then they went like, yeah, we're going to take a little break.
Well, everyone's playing those games, so fair enough.
now we're in massive game season again. But I can tell you what, Eddie, I'm looking at this new releases section, and I'm saying you're going to start us off with a massive banger now. With all that.
Okay, yeah, I shouldn't have built up that much.
Yeah.
First game, nice. Arkanoid Eternal Battle, coming out on PC, PlayStations, Xboxes, and Switch. The whole shebang, which is surprising for how shit this game is.
Well, don't call it shit yet. You know, I thought you were going to come into this and give it you've just talked about how games are fucking flying off the shelves right now. Let's go.
October 27th. Discover or rediscover the emblematic Block Breaker game in a fully modernised version. Classic elements from the franchise will definitely make a comeback with a brand new... Definitely make a comeback. Really? With a brand new look, new rules, as well as new effects, bonuses and features. For those of you who don't know, this game is that bar and ball game I've put here. It's that game where you have your bar and you control it at the bottom, and you move it along and make sure the ball doesn't fall down, and you knock blocks above it.
Yes.
That's what this game is. I mean, it's modernised, so...
Fully modernised.
Fully. So the music's okay. The visuals are a little brighter. And there's 4 game modes, including a versus mode and an eternal battle mode, where you play loads of other people.
That is in the title. It is called Arkanoid Eternal Battle, so it's nice that they worked it into the game.
Yeah, so this is... Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely making a comeback, so...
Yeah, I don't know why they've put that. That's a bit weird.
Well, because they're so certain in it, we don't need to talk about it anymore, because they're just massively certain.
But it's not a game that you play now, is it? Is it?
No, it's not. No, absolutely not.
Thank you.
100% not.
That's all I wanted to hear. Right, Moving swiftly on to Gunfire Reborn. Coming out October 27th on Xbox Series X. Basically, this came out in May 2020. It's a level-based adventure game featuring first-person shooting, roguelike, and RPG elements. But yeah, it's coming out on the new Xbox. So
this is not the game that I thought it was, but it looks like a shit Overwatch. Is that?
It does, but it's got very positive reviews. So part of me isn't going to shit on it. There you go.
Okay, good. Good
cool.
stuff.
Moving on to a real goodie, Moonshine Inc. short for Incorporated, I think. Coming out on PC.
Sure is, buddy.
October 27th. The first strategy management game in which you can become the best moonshiner there ever was. Why would you put you in capitals? Because it's not like there's been games where you make someone else a good moonshiner, is there?
Well, what about Brewmaster?
Did you see that? Because you see that in my notes that I've put, we added Brewmaster a few weeks ago.
I did see that, yeah.
Build your unlawful empire directly under the authorities' nose. Authorities? With 100 plus recipes, real fermentation methods, and processes recreated. Remember, nothing is illegal till you get caught. That's not true, is it?
Yeah, that's not the opinion of Grumpy Gamers podcast.
That's what the spiel says. That's not true. That's actually the complete opposite.
It's a lie.
Yeah. So this we had Brewmaster a couple of weeks ago, Ben. Don't know if you remember this.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, actually.
No, this looks really, really good. You control loads of aspects. There's loads of like customizations of how to upgrade your building equipment to make better recipes, and then you can buy certain things to help. And there's base building. There's things like lore levels. There's delivery systems. You can buy different cars. The visuals look good. The UI looks brilliant. I've listed it already, and I genuinely think this looks bloody brilliant.
Yeah, I think it looks quite good. The only thing that I'd be wondering about would be, once you get the loop, is it going to be actually quite basic? It's one of these things where one of these strategy management games which might look impressive on the face of it, but actually, how deep does it actually go?
Yeah, I see what you mean. So, I agree. I think it's not going to be a forever game. I agree with that, but I think it's going to be a really enjoyable, 20-hour, 30-hour experience. Yeah.
I like the look of it. I might wish list it myself because it's right up my street.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, really like the look of this. Next one, Sackboy: A Big Venture is coming out on PC, October 27th. So that's a pretty staple PlayStation game, isn't it?
Yeah, it continues PlayStation's releasing of games onto PC, doesn't it? So, yeah fair play. I like it because it just means more of them are coming to PC.
It's good, but I remember being so excited about all these PlayStation games coming out on PC, but this is £50, so...
Yes, and you know, Eddie, these fucking PlayStation games coming out on PC, and I've been buying them on my Steam Deck. I've bought quite a few on the Steam Deck recently because I've been getting them for reasonable prices, and it's great. This week I managed to get my PlayStation on my Steam Deck via Remote Play.
Oh, wow.
So your PlayStation 5 just appears on your screen, like you could control it fully from your screen, just like Remote. I've never used Remote Play before, but PlayStation has that feature. Yeah. I got it on the Steam Deck. It was a faff on to do it, I'm not gonna lie, but now it is on there, and I'm so impressed. I had it on my TV on in the background, and it was like 1 for 1. I mean, my internet connection is okay. It's like 70 meg, so it's pretty good for this country, but you got people who are obviously on like a gig and stuff like that. So
yeah,
but mine's not like out of this world internet, but the latency was just so small. It was like I couldn't tell that it wasn't 1 for 1 in my movements, and for that reason, I could just load up any of my PlayStation games. So I've recently bought Death Stranding and fucking Days Gone and Horizon and stuff like that. Like, I've got them all on PlayStation, so I could just be playing, because I'm not taking my Steam Deck anywhere. Like, I use it as a handheld for my sofa, not taking it outside. I'm not a fucking mentalist. I'm not taking a 500
I might steal it off you. Yeah, I might just blame it on someone else.
Yeah, fucking hell, I'm not stupid. So yeah, I just play it on the sofa. So yeah, actually, I'm starting to think maybe I don't need these games on PC. I could just play them through the Remote Play.
Yeah, Probably.
What a waste of money recently.
Yes, that's a lot of money. Although you got Days Gone for quite cheap, didn't you? Like 15 quid.
I did get it for cheap. I think I got it for like 13 quid, which was excellent. I got Death Stranding for 20 something, and Horizon Zero Dawn was also like $7.99 on CD keys or something. So actually, they are running real cheap at the moment. But still, remote play is fucking good.
Nice. Right. Let's move on to Saturnalia. Saturnalia?
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Coming out on PC,
Nailed it.
PlayStations, Xboxes, and thank you, Switch, October 27th. A survival horror adventure. As an ensemble cast, explore an isolated village of ancient ritual. Its labyrinth roads change each time you lose all your characters. The visuals look horrendous. It looks like it's drawn by a 10-year-old, and then it's coloured in by their younger brother, who is a 5-year-old. The game footage I've seen, honestly, the frames per second, I've said on this podcast famously that I don't really notice it unless it's under like 40. And this honestly looks garbage. Absolutely, like 10 frames per second. Like, I could get a picture book and anyway.
This game looks fucking awful.
Oh,
it does
good. I'm glad you said that.
No, I can't. It's one of those things that I couldn't get over. Like, I know it's a design choice. I can only assume it's a design. I hope it's a design choice. I hope that this is what they envisaged in their mind.
Yeah.
But my God, why would you?
Yeah.
Like, if that was what you were hoping for, don't.
Oh, even when you see him, like, the walking's bad, but like when you see him run and stuff, it looks, and the background is all dark. And is it trying to be scary? Is that what it's trying to do?
Yeah, I think I was watching a developer play it. I think that's what I saw a video of.
Oh yes, I've seen that video. Yeah, I've seen that video. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Like, I just switched off at 5 seconds. I was like, okay, shit. I can't do it. It doesn't matter if it's the best game in the world. I can't do it.
Do you think this game will do well? Because it does have an edgy look, and it's different, and all that shit.
That's the thing. It is coming out on all platforms.
Yes.
And it's people like me that are probably too up their own arse to ever give it a chance because of those visuals.
Yeah.
But maybe you might get people out there that will give it a chance and go, "Oh, this is the best horror game ever." I don't know, man. It's like, I don't know how you can sell to a mass market. I don't know how you can get a lot of sales if your game looks like this. Problem with this type of game, if you see it on the Switch, on the eShop, you will assume it's shovelware. You'll assume it's nonsense because it looks like so many other crap games they have on the Switch.
Yeah.
Like that they have on the eShop. It just looks like another one of those. So it would. I think unless it gets some good press, it'll be hard pressed to ever.
Like it looks like one of those edgy games that if it got some good press, then people would all be saying it's Game of the Year contender. And
yes,
I'd get really upset.
If it gets good press, then yes, but otherwise, like, it's nothing that can be discovered because who's just going to randomly click on that game and go, yeah, let's have a go.
I like.
Let's give it this. Give one.
Per second.
Let's give this game a fucking go, should we?
This is great visuals. Yeah, well, let's move on. Star Ocean, The Divine Force, coming out on PC, PlayStations, Xboxes, October 27th. Square Enix and Tri-Ace present the latest title in the Star Ocean RPG series.
What a fucking blurb that is.
It's detailed.
I don't know where Pete got that from, but maybe that's the best he could find.
I mean, he's got it off Steam. You do realise all he does is go onto Steam and copy and paste it.
Why did they use that on Steam?
Because
that's
they
fucking
got
awful.
Really lazy. Maybe the guy that does the blurbs was on holiday.
They were like, "Oh, the people who are going to buy this are going to buy it. Anyone who doesn't know what it is isn't going to fucking buy it."
Yeah, I guess they just went, to our diehard fans. Yeah. I mean, to the people that do actually want to play this is you explore in 3 dimensions. It's the largest environment ever, apparently. And the scope of its battles has also evolved. So if you do like these kind of games, then it sounds like a goodie. You've got to admit, Ben, the visuals look quite nice, though, right?
It's such a saturated market, that kind of JRPG space.
Look. Yeah.
It's so saturated. This has a big name behind it. Star Ocean is a big name and franchise. However, has in its recent titles, as far as I'm aware, not been great. They've not been good. And I think fans of the franchise would jump at the chance to be playing Star Ocean, which was a 7 out of 10. I think I think that's the consensus that I hear. So it doesn't have to be brilliant. It just has to be serviceable to get the fans back in the series. But I don't actually think it does look that good for a JRPG. Some of these JRPGs that come out these days just look so fucking good.
Yeah, even I downloaded once. Can you believe it? Never played it, obviously. But
no, obviously not. But even look at like Scarlet Nexus and stuff on Xbox, on Game Pass, that you can still get, I think, and it's on all platforms. Actually, I don't know why I said Xbox. But yeah, that looks amazing. I've got one on the PS5 that I haven't played yet. I've forgotten his name, but there are so many good-looking JRPGs out there, and I think this is just off the mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not even a great looker of a JRPG. So if you're not a big fan of the series, I think you're struggling to sell copies of this game.
Well, maybe they have a really big, hardcore fan base.
Maybe they do. Yep, absolutely. And hopefully it's a good game. I don't know.
There you go. Moving on, Warhammer 40k, or 40,000 as they put, Inquisitor Martyr, coming out on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, so it's a next gen. October 27th, because the real game came out in August 2017. I think it came out on the consoles in 2018, if I remember correctly.
Is this just a next gen upgrade?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a twin stick action RPG. It's supposed to be quite a good Warhammer game, to be fair. If you're interested in your Warhammer games, so yeah, check that out if you're interested.
You ever been interested in these types of the Warhammer games?
I've played a lot of different types of Warhammer games. I genuinely reckon I've probably played over 20 Warhammer games in my lifetime. The problem is, and people agree with this, is they're so fucking hit and miss that it's not worth buying expensive Warhammer games. I don't mean that in a mean way. It's just there are so many where I really think their business model is just throw shit at the wall. Hardcore fans will always buy it, because there are, like, I used to be a really hardcore Warhammer fan, and they will buy the games. And then, of course, you've got the occasional game that is actually a good computer game, so therefore non-Warhammer people will buy it, and and then you've got a lot of money coming in that way. So, never played this one, didn't like the look of it. But hey, it's next gen.
There's a next gen upgrade. Right, we're moving into the games that you promised from the start, the good game season, right?
Hey, I mean, we fucking had Moonshine.
Oh yeah, we had Moonshine. We've had a lot of other stuff.
Right, fine. Let's move on to a really big shit one then. Bayonetta 3 coming out on Switch October 28th.
Go on, give it a bit of a zhuzh on this reading. Come on, here we go. Yeah, zhuzh it for me.
Why do you have to make that sound weird? Bayonetta struts through multiple locations in an all-new, over-the-top climax action game for Nintendo Switch. Boom. Sporting a wicked new ensemble and somehow familiar pigtails, the titular Umbra witch... Umbra? Must face a mysterious evil using her signature guns and time-slowing witch time ability. This time invading man-made bioweapons called homunculi. You know what's so annoying? I tried to find how to pronounce that word on the internet before this podcast and I couldn't find it.
Yeah, I think you did a valiant job there, because I tried to read that earlier today.
I even went on
lots
of
3 attempts.
Yeah, no, I went on like loads of videos, and I even got to each bit and every time they went like, "Oh, a new enemy," and then the name would pop up on the screen, and I'd go, "Fuck off!" Even you don't know how to pronounce it. Find themselves in Bayonetta's crosshairs. So this is the third in the Bayonetta series, action adventure, third person. This is the first time I've ever seen gameplay of Bayonetta. And I think it looks absolutely horrendous. There's your unpopular opinion. Talking about
I don't
talking
know.
about our feature.
Yes, yeah, that's a nice link. That's a nice. I mean, Bayonetta. It's weird because Bayonetta does not sell a fuck ton of copies. It doesn't. Like
Alright.
it doesn't make much money. You know that people have recently been talking about. You know, with this news story that's been going on, like Bayonetta doesn't make any fucking money. It's not expected to make any money. It's just good for Nintendo's catalog and all this kind of stuff and what have you. So, you know, I don't think it sold loads of copies, but I have played the first one, and it's okay. Like yeah, it's okay. I don't think I'm gonna get this one, so I think I'm gonna boycott it.
Very good. Good.
But yeah, no, I don't think I am. But yeah, there are rumors of performance issues, aren't there?
Come on, Ben! You're just straight out reading my notes now.
No, you've said frame rate actually.
Okay, right, fine.
But there are actually, yeah. I mean, I think people obviously are playing early builds of the game. I think somebody got the game early, released some footage, that type of stuff. So let's see if that is actually true. A game like this kind of needs to run quite smoothly. The first two ran very smoothly, so. But I'm not massively interested in Bayonetta. Let's see what the reviews come up, because I reckon it could review very, very well.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I do think so. I think we will see this in the high 80s.
Wow. Holy cow. Okay.
Because it's Switch only, and I think the reviewers that review this game will probably be very into Bayonetta. So I'm not saying it may be an objective 88 or something, but I reckon it will be up there.
I'm going to look up what's their 1 and 2. I think they were pretty.
Yeah, actually, I don't know. Look it up. Yeah, that's a good point.
Good shit. Okay, Bayonetta for Switch was 84.
Okay.
Bayonetta for PC was fucking 90.
Yeah, Jesus, like maybe the Switch version wasn't as good. What about
what
was it on that?
Bayonetta 2 for Switch, 92.
Right, there you go. Yeah, I reckon we could see ourselves with a high, and if it does come in really high, let's just say it came in at 90 for argument's sake, but it didn't sell that was. It might sell very well because of the controversy. Yeah. It's going to be in contention for being in those top 5 games for the year, like at Jeff Keighley's event. It's going to be up there. I wouldn't be surprised if Bayonetta 3 does slip into that discussion.
That'd be upsetting, because I think it looks truly terrible. But hey, most Switch games are like that to me, so I guess.
Well, you don't need that.
Yeah,
you don't need that.
Moving on to a biggie. Moving on to the biggie, I should say, because Bayonetta 3 is obviously shite. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 coming out on PC, PlayStations, and Xboxes. October 28th. Save the date. I bet a lot of people have actually. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna look at my work calendar. Oh yeah, I'm so gonna look at my work calendar tomorrow. See who's taking the Friday off, because this is one of those games, isn't it, that my mates used to.
It is. It's one of those games like FIFA where people take time.
Yeah, FIFA. It was always FIFA and Call of Duty in the pubs when I used to work in. I used to see loads of people request holiday day. Oh fucking, there we go.
Now, obviously, this is an early access at the moment where you can get the campaign like we mentioned earlier. But that's this is the full release, and most people play it for multiplayer, don't they? And so the multiplayer comes out on Friday.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I would say I think most people get it for the multiplayer, but you know, Kirk told me off when I once said that, so I'm not going to say that.
No, I like the campaigns. I really do.
Oh, okay. Apparently they're actually quite good as well, aren't they? To be fair.
Yeah, they are. Some of them are excellent. The only reason I would really look at getting this game is, one, for the campaign, because I quite like to have a little 5-6 hour bash on the campaign. But 2, it's to level the old guns up for Warzone, isn't it?
So you're ahead of the curve already, yeah?
Yeah.
Get a bit of
the thing is, if you're getting
in
at ground zero, then it works like to buy it on day one to level up, because what I didn't want to do was buy fucking Vanguard and Cold War and stuff like that. You're too late in the day to be leveling up your guns. Then you could just do it on Warzone.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what also made me really want to get the old one was because apparently they have modes in them where it's really good for training. So, for example, you can set it. Like Warzone, I was like, how to be better at Warzone. The first thing everyone says is go onto the game and load up headshots only. And I was like, how do I do that? And it was like, you need to buy the full fucking game. So,
it's a mode in multiplayer, is it?
Exactly, yeah. Or I think it's a mode in training or something. But there's loads of little things you can do in them. So,
yeah, a lot of people play one-hit kill pistol.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna get this personally, which is surprising because I like my first-person shooters. But it's because the price tag's putting me off at the moment.
Are you? Let's say the price tag was a little bit better. This surely, because we play a lot of Warzone, and we're going to play a lot of Warzone too.
Yeah.
Would this be something you're interested, just so that you can play some multiplayer, level up your guns, or do you just want to do that in Warzone like we always have?
It's one of these that I remember halfway through our times in Warzone. I remember me toying with the idea of me getting the game so I can level up a weapon or do a bit of practice. And I remember going on for those many months thinking, I should have got it at the beginning.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think part of my brain will be sensible this time. And when it does come on a sale near the beginning, I'll go, get it, because then you're not regretting not getting it for the next 9 months.
That's exactly the same as my view. Yeah. But equally, when there's been those free multiplayer weekends where you get to play...
Oh, yeah.
Warzone, so you get to, level up your guns during those weekends. Yeah. I absolutely hate Call of Duty multiplayer. I hate it so much.
So fast.
Run, kill,
yes,
get
it
killed.
Is exactly
run,
that. Yeah.
kill, get killed. It's just this is... it's soul destroying.
I remember going
horrible.
From... Yeah, on those free weekends, because I had gone from playing a lot of PUBG, or as PUBG as Pete calls it.
Of course, yeah. Sorry, I didn't know what you meant by PUBG. So.
Onto Warzone, and holy shit, going over to Modern Warfare multiplayer for those free weekends was... I think I phoned up either you or Jack and went who enjoys this?
It's horrible.
It's non-stop. I remember at the end of a game, I used to be shaking because it used to be so non-stop and run, die, grenade. Nah, not for me. But yeah, I do want to level up the guns. I want to get better at the game. But the price tag's a bit too steep for me at the moment.
Yeah, it's amazing that it is obviously the best-selling franchise, the best-selling game. I mean, that's why Microsoft are paying incredible amounts of money to get Activision for these types of games. But and it does always surprise me that so many people play these games like this. But we obviously play Warzone, but that multiplayer is so prolific. People fucking love it. So
absolutely, that's probably another reason why I'm reluctant to get it, because I'm a podcast gamer and I'm also a hardcore gamer. And what I mean by that is I need to play lots of games to see what's out there, to see what's good, and to see what is my next, moving on to hardcore gaming, moving on to what game I will play fucking 300 hours over, So if I got Modern Warfare, it's expensive, I would tell myself you need to drop some serious hours into this game. And it is all the same, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It is all run in, die. You've got your different maps, yeah, sure, but
I suppose a lot of these people playing it are playing with their mates and stuff like that. We get the same enjoyment out of playing Warzone because it's just playing with our mates. It's not even that it's Warzone really for me. It's just the fact that the game is pretty good, but I'm playing with my mates, so
Yeah, I mean, I can't see how it can be too fun on Call of Duty multiplayer, because it's so you die probably, let's say on average. I would like to see what the average is, but probably 12 seconds. Do you reckon the average life?
I could, It's
I wouldn't even have time to find you and Jack.
Yeah, that's the thing. The reason we enjoy Warzone is because it's quite tactical.
That's what I mean. It's tactical and it's fun, and you're always with each other. There's no sure, you can die in a hat, but it's fun doing all this, and maybe spending half your time trying to buy you and Jack back. That's the fun of it, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's fine. That's fair. Actually, there's a fair comment.
That's why we haven't fucking streamed it in a while, because it's just... I mean, Jack's had some bad days, hasn't he? He's just watched me and you play.
Oh yeah, no, he has had a few nights where he's just been a spectator.
Just watching the whole night, the poor bastard. Oh dear, bless him.
Anyway.
Right, moving on to another really good game is Factorio. This is a Switch release, October 28th. I want to talk about this because I love Factorio. But I stopped playing it because to me it's ever so slightly too simplistic in the way I don't like sitting in front of my computer knowing that my main time of the evening, before my missus shouts at me for gaming too much, is playing such a game that is a little bit too simple and too fun. I think this would be a fucking brilliant handheld game.
Do you think it will control well on the handheld, on a controller handheld?
I don't know. I can't see why not. Why? What's your reservations?
I'm just thinking that it's definitely a mouse and keyboard game in its origins, right?
Yeah.
So
okay.
I'm just thinking they obviously have a system, and this has released on other consoles. I'm pretty sure of.
Probably. I mean, it's very much
so.
a PC man's kind of game, but
it's like RimWorld isn't on console. Oh, there is a console RimWorld.
There is a console RimWorld.
There is a console.
I'm checking it now, but I'm pretty sure there is.
Of course there is, but there's no Switch version.
Console edition. Oh, Metacritic. Oh yeah, Xbox One, 92%. Ben.
Shitting hell.
Yeah. What do you want? What do you want? Should we
game.
look up RimWorld on PlayStation 4? Oh,
Go
let's
on,
not do that. No, it hasn't worked out well actually. let's go back to Xbox One. Yeah, great. 92% on Xbox One. There you go. So yes.
So we didn't answer the question: is Factorio on other consoles?
Oh right, sorry. I just got distracted by RimWorld. Factorio. I'm pretty sure it is. Do you not remember?
Must be to come on the Switch. It must be on Xbox or something.
Nintendo Direct. Oh fucking hell. Yeah, this is bad broadcasting. Will Factorio ever come to console? On Reddit, so maybe not.
Maybe not. Maybe it's the Switch. Oh, so actually, Switch console exclusive. You heard it here first. Factorio, 28th of October. Looks good though.
Okay. So in 2021, there's an article saying Factorio is now available on Xboxes. So no.
Switch console exclusive.
No.
Factorio coming October 28th.
Oh dear. Sorry, that was poor. That was on you.
That was
You're the one that said
well, I can't see how that was on me.
Okay. Right.
Next
one. Live by the Sword Tactics. Ooh, is there? You know what? I didn't look this up. Maybe there's a Live by the Sword game as well.
Don't worry about it. Honestly, for this game, don't worry about it.
Live by the Sword Tactics is an unashamedly old-school tactical RPG with modern gameplay ideas. Set after the fall of the land, you control two brothers who must traverse the kingdom to stop it from falling back into the darkness of conflict. Single-player and multiplayer game modes available. It's a grid-based combat game. I'm not mad at the visuals, even though the visuals are quite simplistic. They're what we call simplistic but polished. I believe we've called it in the past.
Is it right?
Yeah, I think this is simple but good.
Right, could be.
What do you like about it? It looks simple. If that's what you're gonna.
Yeah, it actually could be really good.
Oh wow! Okay, that was a quick turnaround.
But it's just it doesn't do itself any favors really on the visuals. But I don't know enough about the game. I was going to make a joke about it saying it's an unashamedly old school tactical RPG. Maybe it should be ashamed. I don't know, but yeah, it's gonna fall somewhere.
Right. I thought this looked okay. Oh, fuck
you.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Right. Resident Evil Reverse coming out on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox October 28th. Beloved Resident Evil characters clash in a fight to the death. Test your skills against other players in 6-person deathmatch battles.
I've never even heard of this fucking game.
No, exactly. This is a third person with no crosshair game, which looks fucking terrible.
Yeah, why is that? Like when you shoot the gun, a crosshair appears, but only as you shoot.
Oh, it's so bad.
I just saw people missing people.
Yeah, of course, because you can't see the crosshair and it's third person. You have no idea where you're shooting. Oh my god.
To be fair though, I have heard from somebody who was like gun trained, said to me that if somebody was stood like 7 meters away or something and you were shooting with a handgun, and that if somebody was going to shoot him, he'd just say, yeah, go on then, try. Because it's bloody hard to hit. So this is realistic, ultra realistic.
Oh, is that what they've gone for? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
In Resident Evil Reverse, they've gone for ultra realism.
Oh dear!
I've never even heard of this. Is this fucking free to play or something? Like what is this nonsense?
It's currently 25%. Oh wait,
I saw that. Right, it says 25% off, but it doesn't say a price. But it says you can buy Resident Evil 8 and you get this with it for free or something.
You can buy Resident Evil Village, and it comes with this, and that's 25 quid. Or you can get it in a huge bundle for 40 quid, down from 110. Yeah, I don't know how to get this game.
I have no opinion on whether this game is good or bad. Like, from what I saw, like, if you're bang into Resident Evil, go on.
I put this will sell, no doubt, because people
like
are
this.
into Resident Evil.
If you're into Resident Evil, then why the fuck not? Give it a go. But free to play, is it?
Let's say yes, shall we?
You heard it here first, Grumpy Gamers. It's free to play. And, Resident Evil Reverse, free to play, PC.
And if it costs money, you can ask Ben to reimburse you for the cost.
No.
All right, last one. The Unliving, coming out on PC October 31st. Raise the dead as a fearsome necromancer in the dark world of the Unliving. Lead your undead armies into the endless fight in this rogue light action RPG game. Oh, they put game. Well done. Burn cities to ash with devastating magic spells, slay epic bosses, and turn your enemies into morbid servants.
You know, you celebrated them putting game, so RPG game, but that's like in this action role-playing game.
Oh, yeah. Actually, that's really bad. Yeah. That's the one instance where you don't put it. Because I've been really... For our listeners who haven't been listening to the recent podcast, I'm really pissed off that it seems to be a trend that they don't put game after, like, strategy or tactical. They just put that instead of tactical game or fucking strategy game or management game.
Time.
This is RPG. Yeah, that... Maybe Pete copied it over wrong. No, that's...
No. That's just them.
God, that's an oversight, isn't it?
I
Who
don't
checks these? Why don't people check these? Like, I get my mate to read some fucking homework before I submit it, and these people are releasing games.
And they don't realise that such a prevalent and prolific podcast is going to be using this Steam.
Yeah, where 50% of them didn't even realise.
Absolutely. There we go.
Yeah, so this is you kind of raise the dead, and they come and fight alongside you. Each dead person has their own abilities. You raise different types of dead people, you know, like werewolves and stuff. It's got like a 90s kind of arcade look to it. I, again, think this could be quite fun.
Yeah, I think 90s, I think it looks a bit more modern than that. So think Diablo... Necromancer meets Hades.
Hades, I got huge Hades vibes. I'll give you that. So
Hades, but and playing as if you were playing as a necromancer from Diablo in Hades, this is what this game is. I think this game looks fantastic. I think it looks absolutely brilliant.
Good.
So it's out on the 31st of October. I am quite interested in it, actually, depending on price. And to get it on Steam Deck or something, because it looks fucking good. Really, really good.
It's going to be a good little handheld game as well.
I think so. It's just that there's so many games coming out right now. Can I really justify buying some random indie called The Unliving on Steam?
No price tag yet.
No, it's one for the wish list, though, because I think that looks absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. I don't think it'll be too expensive, man. I think it'll be about 15, 20 quid.
I know, but still, with all these good games coming out. You know, Sonic's coming out soon.
Oof. Yeah, and God of War.
Yeah, especially Sonic, though. You're right. You're right, I've got to save my pennies for it. Right, what's your pick of the week, Eddie? What's your pick of the week?
This is controversial. Now, I was going to say Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, because I am quite excited about Warzone coming out, and obviously this game is huge for the masses. But I'm not going to do that because I find the game's quite repetitive. Plus, Pete might shout at me if I give that game of the week. So I am giving my pick of the week to Moonshine and Corp.
Oh, I thought you were going to go Factorio. But yeah, okay.
No, well, Factorio has already come out. Loved it. But this Moonshine Inc. looks like the perfect kind of indie game. It looks like someone's really taken care and done a really good job there. So I'm really excited to play this game.
Was Brewmaster our pick of the week a few weeks ago?
It probably was, because I like to look at that. So.
That'd be good. That would be good. Right, okay. Well, good stuff. Let's move on to what we've been playing then, because I know you've been playing something different, and then I've been playing a Plague Tale. So let's go off with your one first.
Yeah, cool. I'll go for because I'm playing a little small game, and that's Despot's game. Do you remember this one?
I remember the name. I'm now going to look it up in the background whilst you start talking about it.
Brilliant. I will say, I'll caveat this with I am playing, because listeners, you may have heard I said I bought Unpopular last week, and I have bought it, and I have been playing it as well. I think I'm about 10 hours deep already. But I'll talk about that next week, because I want to talk about it with Pete, because Pete's already played it. Pete loves it. And I want to play a bit more, because I'm getting quite bored of it, which is quite upsetting, because I thought this was going to be a huge game for me. So I don't want to give it too much credit and then obviously realise that I'm done with the game. So I'll talk about that next week. But for this week, I've been playing Despot's game as well. This came out in September 29th this year.
Yeah,
so,
we put it in the new releases and you liked it, didn't you?
Yeah, said I liked it. It came out on Game Pass. So
did it? Okay.
Had to. This is the rule. It's done by Convert Games, that famous game developer.
Oh yeah,
it's their only game.
What else have they done, Eddie?
It's their only game. I apologise. Yeah.
Right, fine.
Yeah.
Lied to the audience there. That's fine.
Is it? What? What else have they done?
No. You lied in saying that they're famous. Yeah.
Oh right. Okay. Fuck you. Yeah. So this is a rogue-like tactics army builder game. If you haven't listened to the podcast from a few weeks ago, go back and listen to it. And then I'll let you know that you basically only choose your people, and then they go and fight on each level. And then once you finish that level, you go on to another place. You picked another place to go to.
So what does that mean? You only choose your people.
So
what does this mean?
That's difficult. So you, at the end of each level, you can buy extra people, and you can buy extra weapons.
You're creating an army, aren't you?
You are creating an army, essentially. You have money that you get from each battle that you're in, and you also have food to feed your people. So you basically need to build up an army with the right weapons, with the best weapons. You need to make sure they're all fed, and you need to, the point in the game is literally just finding your way to the boss of each level, and then you kill the boss, and then you move on to the next level.
And then you can replenish stock in between. So it's like a roguelike in each... Is it a roguelike?
Yes, yes, exactly. Yeah, you get...
Start from the start, build up your army, and...
Absolutely, and when you die, like fully die, because when you lose a battle, you can go back to, if you've got a certain perk, you can go back to an old saved bit, basically. Right, and keep on going. But when you die, you do actually get like bonuses as well to start on your next game.
Okay, so does that develop your starting position, or does it just give you a one-time bonus?
It will give you... I can't remember now, but there's different types of bonuses that you get. So it can be just weapons. So you can get you can start off with some really good weapons to give your little people. But there are other differences. You've got these things called mutations that give you other abilities. It's like, if you have 3 fighters, then they can do a special ability. Or maybe you can press a button and it does something special, like heal one of your people or something like that.
Do you control the battles, or you just send your people into battles?
You honestly just click go, and that's it.
Yeah.
And they'll all fight each other. It's all about making sure people have the right weapons. Before an army, you can place them in certain places. So, for example, you typically put the ranged people behind the fighters. And maybe if you've got a tank, because all these weapons, what they do, they completely alter the stats of the person that they've got. So, for example, a shield will give you only 5 more attack, but it will give you 200 more health. So basically, that's your tank guy. Or you could give someone like a wand, and that will give them plus bloody 500 attack.
Plus 10 Harry Potter. Yeah.
Yes, plus 5. But, of course, Harry Potter's very weak, so no extra health. So he's a really weak person. So it's all about, giving the right things to the right people. Buying the right weapons, obviously, is really important. Because if you have no tanks, for example, on the front line, then you're not going to do very well. And if you've got only tanks, then you're not going to do any fucking damage. So it's all about managing in that way. It's quite entertaining in that way because on some levels you can't buy people. You can only buy like food, for example. So it's a good challenge to work out where you've gone wrong. It's quite fun to lose, if you know what I mean, because you go, right, next time I won't do that. All your people level up as well, so there's that kind of RPG element to it.
But that doesn't carry on to your next run.
No, not your next run, but it will keep on going until you
in the levels
die. Yeah.
I like the look of this. I think it looks cool.
So I liked the visuals. It's like I guess 90s. Very pixelated look, but it's still it runs smoothly, if you know what I mean. It looks nice when it's still going. I think a big oversight is that there's literally only one fucking music track, and it just keeps on going. Which I think the fact that they've put all this effort in, and I think the visuals are good, and the gameplay, the loop is good. You've got to understand that people are going to be want to play this game for a long time, so. You need to get more than one music track. Yeah,
that is a big thing, isn't it? Because then people just get, even if they don't realise it's the music, they just get bored inherently.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
You remember that game that I loved that you could put the attachments on.
Oh God!
It's called Freeman Guerrilla Warfare, and my one gripe with that was. The music was one track and it went on all the time, but luckily you can turn the music off. But the problem is when you turn music off in a game.
This was a game, just for listeners, early on in the podcast, right? Just winding back the years here.
Here we go.
He said that he was reviewing this game, and he said one of the best things about it, was that you could put a silencer on your guns.
No,
that's one of the best things.
Yeah, on your guns, as in every person in your whole army.
Moving on, and then he said after playing it for 70 hours, he said, "Well, I'm not sure I really like it actually."
70 hours.
70 hours. It took him 70 hours to discover that. I think he's going to give it up.
It's a good game,
but you could put a silencer on the gun, so. That's what really was the icing on the cake.
I really liked that game. It's such a shame that it's kind of dead in the water now.
Yeah, can't imagine why. Right. Okay.
That's pretty harsh. So my overall thoughts of this game, I think it's only a 6 out of 10 if I'm going to give it a rating.
That's a shame.
Yeah, because it gets really old really quickly. Because it's the same thing. It's just about placing your thing. You don't really get any. I think this game could be really good if you had connection with the people that you had in front of you.
Yes.
When someone levels up, it literally just goes like level up, like quickly in the corner of your screen.
You want the old RimWorld effect of being actually.
Yeah, I mean, because you do have like when you click on them, you can kind of see stats, and that's quite nice. But it's really fiddly to click on every single bloody one of your army, and I think this game would be so good if it just had another screen where it was like, I don't know, army lit, and it came up with all your people, and it had all their attack stats or all their
names.
Names, their thoughts, their prayers,
Yeah.
I want RimWorld.
Whether they're doing okay, whether they're happy.
That's all I want is RimWorld. Is that too much?
You want RimWorld. You want a roguelike tactical army battler.
Yeah.
In RimWorld.
What's wrong with that? Oh, talking of RimWorld, I'm playing again, obviously. But here's the thing. So that new DLC came out.
Did you get it?
I didn't, because it's now £20, while the others were £15.
Oh.
And that really upset me, that did.
I can imagine it upsetting
That
you.
really fucking upset me because I was only, as you know, buying those add-ons for supporting the developers. This add-on looks...
We're weird people, Eddie, because we went out on Friday night and we spent an absolute fortune.
Oh yeah, I bet that cost
on alcohol.
I haven't checked.
And
I haven't checked.
No. We
Don't
don't even look at the bank account. We spent an absolute fortune on alcohol, and we won't spend an extra £5 on a game that you've spent about 3,000 hours in.
Absolutely not. No.
We're weird people.
It doesn't even look good, though. That's the problem. Like, you know what upsets me most of all, and this, I guess you can't really complain to the developers because they created such a good platform for modders to work with. But the mods are better than the DLCs that they're bringing out.
Yeah, I know you've said that. It's a bit shit, isn't it?
Yeah,
well, it's unfortunate, not shit. It's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. And you know what's even annoyed me even more? So they've released the new update with the new DLC, which has made the mods that created the things that they've brought in obsolete until the mod makers actually update it.
Oh,
Which is really quite clever if you think about it.
It is.
Because it might make people go, I want children in my RimRoll playthrough.
I've got to get that. I've got to get the official. Fuck no. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, smart. So, yeah, I would say this is 6 out of 10. I think it's a good Game Pass game because it's free, and I reckon it will hold people for a whole weekend.
An in-between game as we approach.
Absolutely. A really good in-between game. It might even be a game that you just jump on if, I've got 20 minutes before the missus finds out I'm gaming. Jump on, have a few games, have a good laugh. Yeah.
Lovely. I hear what you're saying. As we approach Sonic, you should be maybe thinking about jumping in on this in the meantime. Gotcha.
So that was Despot's game.
Despot's game. Right. Good stuff. Right. Now for the bigger one this week was A Plague Tale Requiem.
Nice.
So been anticipating this one for quite a while. So I'll go through like we did with Scorn. Talk about the graphics first of all. So this is the first game that I've played on my Series S. And I've thought, maybe I need a Series X.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know.
Why?
It is. It looks soft. It looks a little washed out on the Series X.
Wow.
Series S, sorry.
That's crazy, because what did you play the last one on?
I played it on PS5. I played it on Game Pass, and then I played it later on PS5 with the upgrade, I think. And when I played it with the PS5 upgrade, I thought, well, this looks awesome.
Yeah,
I played it originally on the Series.
That's incredible. Yeah.
I assume I played the originally on the Series S. I played it on Game Pass, whatever it was on at the time.
Yeah.
No, I played it on PC. I think originally.
Wow.
I played the first one on PC. Yeah, PC Game Pass.
Ooh.
I think. And that looked wonderful.
Yeah, that's probably one of them, isn't it?
So it's weird. Like the Series S, it looks absolutely fine. It really does. It looks fine. But from what I hear, it looks fantastic on PC, and it looks fairly good on the Series X. Now, I don't really trust when people put pictures and photos on Twitter.
All because of Forza. That's the only reason why.
Yeah, because it's the post-processing, it's the things that change things, all this kind of nonsense. But I don't know, I don't really trust them as much. But if you speak to people on the internet, or if you look at what they're saying, you go in expecting it's the best looking game ever. I don't think it's the best looking game ever. It's just a nice looking game. But I have, for that reason, because I had the Series S, and I would like to have played it on the Series X, or if my PC was really up to it now these days. But I've been playing it on the Steam Deck on the cloud, actually. Cool. Because the cloud version, I think, looks better than the Series S.
Wow.
Looks on the smaller screen and all that kind of stuff. I think it looks quite nice. I mean, obviously it's internet connectivity dependent, but I have enjoyed actually just playing it in handheld. So that's mainly how I've been playing it. So I don't know. Take from that what you will. A lot of people are really, really rating this on the graphical side, and it does look nice. But I think on PC though, it really would look fantastic because the first game popped so much. The first game, I was just so impressed with how that looked. I thought it looked incredible. So this one obviously will also look incredible, given the right setup. But the story, firstly, I'm on chapter 7, and there's 17 chapters, so I've played it a fair bit. But
how long does that take you there?
I reckon I've played 6 or 7 hours.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
so it's not longest.
Yeah, the game is 15 to 20 hours, so I must have played about 7 hours, I reckon. Yeah, 7 hours, something like that. But a lot of people listening will probably know what a Plague Tale is. But it's set in the 1300s in France. You play Amicia, and you're fleeing plague of rats, soldiers, the French Inquisition, that kind of stuff. And it's all focused on your little brother, Hugo. You're trying to save him. He's got this blood disease. He's got this affinity with the rats, all this kind of stuff.
That's the same.
Anyway.
Is that same story as the last one then?
Well, it's a continuation. It definitely is a continuation.
Okay.
So, if you haven't played the first one, go and watch a 10-minute recap on YouTube, and then you could dive straight into this one. But just make sure you do that, because the best thing about this game, without a shadow of a doubt, is the story. The story, it's one of those games, and we all know them, where for some, like, you don't know why, but you just care about these characters. You actually do care about the story. The writing, the voice acting, all that kind of stuff just comes together, and you care about the characters. And so you can, but in a 10-minute recap or whatever, you can understand what's going on. You can understand why these characters are acting like they do and stuff like that. So I think that's quite important. But the gameplay is very similar to the last game, in so much as it's stealth, and it's kind of that resource survival game kind of gameplay. We have to pick things up to craft. It's got improvements from the last game, but there's no doubt that the gameplay is quite basic. That is a Plague Tale. That's fine. That's what the first game was. But this is more in depth than the first one, for sure. There are different mechanics, but they all center around using your sling, like in the first game. And there's like setting things on fire, there's extinguishing flames, using tar, all that kind of stuff. You do get a crossbow as well. And there's different methods for killing the rats and stuff as you go through the game. No spoilers and stuff like that, but there are just different methods, and that is a massive thing, that there are different methods of doing the stealth stuff, which is very cool. And also one thing they've changed, and I'm pretty sure they changed it from the first game, you don't have to pick up basic rocks in this game. There are an infinite amount of rocks in your back, which is a nice touch, because I think you had to like gather rocks up to like 10 rocks or something to carry around. So it's fucking good. But yeah, that's a good thing. It's a lot more difficult in places than the last game, because the last game was very easy, I'd say, and the stealth of it is very easy. It's more atmospheric, and the story stuff created everything. And there are tremendous kind of accessibility options in this. You can turn it down to narrative from normal or up to kind of hard. The narrative does make it a lot easier, but you can even put it on like an invincibility mode where you can't get killed by the soldiers and stuff, I think, in the settings, which I do think is very good, because this game is about the story. So if you were struggling, then you
just
can
wanted
do
to
that.
experience it. Yeah,
absolutely. And despite it being this really linear game, and we said this last week, didn't we? Like, you're not into linear games as much, single player linear games. You like, it's just not. This isn't your type of game. You might enjoy this game for a bit, but it's not your type of game. But there are little sandbox areas where you have to get from one point to another point across this like little map, and the variety in how you can get there is really, really good. And there are no objective markers, which is it's a very refreshing thing in a video game, like where you don't have you have to get to that point over there. Like sometimes you do get turned around a bit, and you're like, I don't know whether I'm going the right direction. Where is my out? And that can be a little bit frustrating, but it is what it is for the good stuff of being able to just work your way through.
I've always said that my perfect game would have no markers and no hints, but had a very good, like, my perfect game would basically be like Skyrim, but they would go and see the Jarl in the in the tavern in this town.
Yes.
And then you'd need to ask people, like, where is the tavern? And they'd be like, east. And then
this is why you need to play more Elden Ring.
Well, yeah, fine.
But Elden Ring, it'll be just somebody randomly saying, like, oh, there's a thing over there.
Yeah. But to caveat all that, I've got to admit, I get bloody frustrated, when you're trying to find something and you can't find it and you look on the internet and go through the fucking playthrough.
Yeah, well, the funnest thing for me with games like Elden Ring is actually playing it alongside, like when you go, oh, I really want to find this thing. How do I do that? Yeah. And you look it up and you go, oh, right, now I'm going to go and do that. Like I actually find that the funnest part of it. But this I do like the non-objective marker stuff. I do think that is really good. But the standout thing for me is the voice acting, which I can only look forward to in Pokemon. But
very good.
Amicia, the main character, she's fucking sensational, just like the first game. And I think this is the reason why you care about the characters.
Right.
I think that is it. Because if that was crap, then you really wouldn't. And that is a voice actress who needs to reprise the role. Because if they change that, there would be a kick-off. Because she really was excellent the first game. The one thing that they have improved is the combat, the basic combat. So Amicia is a badass, but not like in other games. Like, you are a teenage girl. Yeah. You cannot really engage in hand-to-hand combat, and you are incredibly vulnerable. You always counter the first attack, but if you don't recover enough, and you get hit again, then it's basically a 2-hit kill. So you have to get quite creative, and you can't just run through. You have to actually think about what you're doing. So,
I don't know how I'd feel about that. That would, I don't know. I think I'd get really bloody frustrated with that.
Well, this is a good point there, because on the issues with this game, it's a very slow start to the point that it's annoying and it forces you to do fucking nonsense, and you're like, oh, can I just get on with the game? The gameplay itself is simple, and this one is harder than the last one, like I said. But the main thing... This is on your point that you just said, Eddie. The main thing about a good stealth survival type game for me is the getting through a section and going and thinking, I just survived. Like, I just did that. And that's the mark where you think you're not going to do something, but you just do it. But in some of the harder areas in this game, it's really trial and error. It's like, try it, die, try it again, die, change something a little bit, die, change something a bit more, made it through, okay. And it kind of loses its edge, because I'm just constantly just trying, I'll try, oh, can I get to that bit there? Oh no, the rats have killed me, alright, fine. And it's got a very nice autosave, but it kind of takes the edge off and it makes it less and less dramatic.
Like, when you said I just survived, I completely get that. Like, I love games like Elden Ring when you save at the right spot. Like, one of my favourite games ever is obviously Escape from Tarkov. I've talked about it a million times. Yes. And the whole enjoyment of that game is seeing that end screen come up and knowing that you just survived.
Yes.
And that's great. But if it's got like a save point where you just... I find myself, especially when I get lazy, I just go, oh, well, just lean back on your chair and just keep on doing it until you find a way.
Yeah, you do get lazy. Absolutely. And I've had times where I just was trying the same thing, repeating it, going, I want to do it this way.
Yeah.
And that's the one area on this game where I think it does fall down, in so much as that type of game design, they're just off having that as being very good. They're just off it, because you can drop it down to narrative mode and then it's a lot easier. But on the normal mode, I was finding myself just hitting against the brick wall, trying to do it a little bit differently, but not caring. That's the thing. Like, the first time when the music's pumped and you're running through and you're trying to do it quickly, and then you're like, actually, I'll just hang out in the grass here and then I'll put that there. And I don't know, it's a bit different. So, as I said, this 15 to 20 hour game, I'm not certain the gameplay would be enough to hold you all the way through. And I'm hoping that the story will keep up, because it's very, very good so far. Because if it does, then the story is the hook. And and there is more variety in this game, but I'm just thinking like that gameplay probably isn't enough. But this, I mean, the overall package of this game, from what I've experienced so far, it is the perfect example of a game that is more than the sum of its parts. So the gameplay is very average. Graphically, it's nice, but not insane on the majority of consoles or PCs that people will probably be playing this on. The story on paper is okay. But for some reason, you genuinely care about it, and it turns it into this top quality game. So it is a really good game, but like, if you ask me, well, what's amazing about it? I don't really know. But it's the same how I felt about the first one.
I don't know. You were like the mechanics are basic, but the story's great and it looks beautiful. You did say how good it looks.
Oh yes, and I'm probably doing this game a little bit of a disservice. I just think I was quite disappointed when I turned on my Series S and I was like, everyone's telling me that this is the best looking thing in the world, and
that might be a big problem, right? Is you've gone into this not only hearing that, but knowing that you were so impressed with the visuals when you played.
Yeah, they were amazing. They were amazing.
So your expectations were fucking sky high.
I also think the first area doesn't do it any justice because it's full of the sun. Like what you need is a dark area where it's like glistening off the water off the ground and all this kind of stuff. And they come later in the game when I'd already switched to cloud because I was like, yeah, this is. But the character models, like the first thing I saw, like the actual character models didn't look as detailed as they did on the first one with the next gen upgrade, I thought. And the lip syncing was god awful, and their hair
I hate
was
when the
awful.
lip syncing's off.
But the games cannot do hair, and you're like, what is going on here? So I was just really disappointed with the Series S version, and there could be people listening to this going, oh, it looks amazing, and that's maybe it does on their consoles. I just didn't think it did on mine.
What would you give it out of 10? Because I'm really difficult to put my finger on what you think.
Well, I am. I am only on chapter 7, obviously. At the moment, it is a 7.5 out of 10. It's good. It's a good game. It's a good game.
I see what you mean. So, like, because it's so based on the story, if the story turns out to be fucking amazing, you might actually turn this into like a 9.
Yeah, could be a 9. Yeah, especially if it hits the emotional beats towards the end or whatever. Yeah, absolutely. Because there are some moments of it. You're like, yes, this is.
If there's an ultimate sacrifice like Armageddon, then.
Oh goodness, yeah. If it's Armageddon all over again, then yeah.
Get the tears
God,
again.
The tears will be coming in thick and fast. But the gameplay is absolutely fine, and they do a lot more with it and all that kind of stuff. And but it's good. It's definitely a good game though.
I wonder if they kill off one of the brother or sister, because then it means they can't really make another one. But it means the story will have a fucking brilliant ending, doesn't it?
Oh, maybe it'll be a 9 out of 10.
Very good.
Because that's what they care about. Grumpy Gamers Podcast opinion out of 10 of their game. So maybe they've done it just for us. But so that's what we've been playing this week. So if you've got a different view on a Plague Tale or Despot's game, then let us know. But we will now be moving on to our feature, which is, and I'm looking forward to this, unpopular gaming opinions. So I put a question out on Twitter, and I just said, what are your unpopular gaming opinions? Because we were planning to do something on this, but I wanted to get some other people. So what we'll do is we'll say a few of ours, which you'll probably know or most of them already, but we'll brush over ours quite quickly, and then we're going to move on to the responses that we got on Twitter, because and then we'll say whether we agree or not, because it's funny, it's good. But a couple from me, probably known. So unpopular opinions: Mario Odyssey, in my opinion, is a boring game, and Link's Awakening is a bad game. And I watch out for Deadbeat Punk, host of What the Fuck Do You Want podcast, outrage on that one, because I think he was particularly outraged when I mentioned that before. But yeah, Link's Awakening is a fucking bad game. So that's my first one. Have you got one?
We're going to get so much hate, aren't we?
Yeah, this is good.
I feel bad, right? Because you did only put 2 down, but this is this is why I'm here. I'm here for my unpopular big rant.
I know, and I celebrate that. So.
I just unloaded my brain. I only had 15 minutes before, and I just unloaded. I came up with how many have I got here? 9.
Okay, list a couple, and I will say whether I agree.
Okay, well, I'll put the first two. This one's a shout out to my mate Neil from university. We're going back fucking 12 years now, but I said to him. And he got really pissed off because he is a hardcore for PC gamer. I said, first-person shooters are better and more fun on console than they are on PC.
Good.
Yeah, I do. Just think they're more enjoyable.
I used to play Warzone on PC, so... But it made no difference to my enjoyment level.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Yeah, I just enjoy it more. And here's a big one. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a boring game.
Absolutely, I fully agree with that. And actually, this is an echo chamber. This podcast is now an echo chamber, and you've got people listening to this going, what the fuck are you talking about? But you've now entered echo chamber.
Oh, man, honestly, when I was listening to your podcast, you and Pete, from 3 weeks ago, where you two were just bouncing off each other how amazing Cyberpunk is. Honestly, and I believe Pete said the line, something like, oh, and let's be honest, the release of the game wasn't as bad as everyone said it was. And I was screaming at my phone, like, so I guess this is what people are doing when we say about how Red Dead 2 is boring as shit.
It's boring, man. It's
widely known as one of the best games ever.
Boring game, though.
I really did find it really boring. I did.
So did I, yeah. And I gave it a lot. I gave it 25 hours. So I know
I think I gave it a
40, 50 hour, but I gave it 25 hours. And if a game doesn't take you in 25 hours, then it's boring.
I think I must have done it out of anger, but I actually took it back. I traded it in, which I'll be totally honest with you, I regret, because it's one of those that after 6 months and after 2 years, I've gone, am I wrong about that game?
Should I do it again?
Yes,
I know.
But of course, the price for fucking Rockstar games is so extortionate that I'm not ever going to pay that price for it again. So
yes, I know. Yeah, I've had the same thoughts, but I like saying it's a boring game.
I like pissing everyone off. Right.
Right. I've got another one. Xbox's main franchises are basic. Ooh. So Halo, Gears of War, and Forza, I think, are basic franchises.
Kirk is fucking livid, right? We're going to get some hate mail just off him alone.
Yeah, absolutely. These are unpopular opinions. You know, it's just what I think. Yeah. It's just what I think. And following on for that, Forza Horizon does not look that good. People exaggerate how good games look on their consoles. Very few games look that good on a console. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, we've had this argument before, and it's that photo mode that you're not a fan of, is it?
I'm not a fan of it, yeah.
I've noticed your last one is something that you've been saying the whole fucking way through the podcast.
I know. You do some more.
All right. I'll do 2 more because these are kind of linked. I only see... Oh, no. Playing mobile games does not make you a gamer.
Oh... How rude.
And we know how big that market is as well. So.
But your mum is a massive gamer.
Okay, there you go. Is my girlfriend a massive gamer? No, she is not. There you go.
But your mum's played like 3,000 hours of
it's not real
Bejeweled or something.
She's not a real gamer. What do you want?
Okay, there you go.
How about this one then, Ben? I think you might actually get angry with this one. I only see you as a casual gamer unless you've played more than 500 hours of one game.
Well, I've obviously played more than 500 hours of one franchise in terms of Football Manager.
Right, Football Manager. Yeah, I guess. But I guess that covers
I do think that's a bit naughty because I think that gamers like myself like to play so many different games that I rarely get that invested in one particular game.
I know, and that's why you're not. That's why you're a casual gamer.
That's why I'm casual, and this is an unpopular opinion.
It's unpopular. Actually,
that might be popular. I don't know. Oh no, I've seen your next one, Eddie.
Yeah. Do you want me to down a bit? Do you? See, I told you, I've got opinions.
No, this is okay. This is unpopular. Let's go. This is good. Here we go. This is a big one, guys. This is a big one. Brace yourself.
Racing games.
No, actually, brace yourself a bit more. Actually, really grab that seat that you're in.
Grab that racing chair. Because racing games are for simple-minded people whose favourite food is mashed potato.
That's
an unpopular opinion.
That is a lot to take in there.
Kirk's going to be livid after this.
There's actually quite there's quite a few friends of the show. I'd say I'd probably say Thomas. I'd probably say John. I'd probably say everyone's probably. I'm
making a lot of enemies today.
Oh yes, good stuff. Do
you want to go with another one?
Yeah. Go on. Yeah.
We're just gonna
let's finish yours off before we go to Twitter.
Okay, cool.
Everyone will forget about ours then, as we just talk about Twitter people.
That's a great shout. Well, here's another way to piss off 1/4 of the gaming population. Nintendo games are for children.
Why don't you shut the fuck up?
It's an unpopular opinion. What's yours?
It is. Yeah.
It's a factual.
I like how this is just taking an opportunity to just say something and there be no recourse.
No, I know. It's beautiful. I'm so glad I didn't think of this with like 2 hours to go. Because
you say this when we go onto the Twitter ones, we'll be going, do we agree? Do we not agree? But yes, okay, carry on.
Oh dear. You know what? The last three aren't bad. Fallout 4 is the best Bethesda game.
Well, that is unpopular, though.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will disagree, but at least they won't be outraged like the others I've said. Yeah, I just think, don't get me wrong, I like the other ones. I really, really do, but I think Fallout 4 is
surely Skyrim is better than Fallout 4.
Skyrim is really, really good, but I enjoyed Fallout 4 way more because of the base building aspect of it. So
fair enough.
There you go. Remasters are just ways of taking advantage of die-hard fans.
Okay. That's real talk.
Yeah,
it's real talk.
It's getting deep.
Yeah. You've stripped out the onion there. Okay.
Yeah. And I think I've actually. I say this is an unpopular opinion, but I think actually the majority of proper gamers will agree with this. Indie games are better than AAA's.
Oh.
Knowing that you're a AAA player.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like.
This one sparked, Ben, from when we were chatting about last few years' games of the years, and we were looking at all of them, and all of them were like indie, either was an indie game or indie game was like big talk. Yeah,
but what I would say is maybe that could be on quite a few games, but the best AAA will be better than the best indie, in my opinion.
I think because of the budgeting. Yes, I think I agree with you there.
But I can see the argument that you would prefer if you had to strike some type of game away. If you said I never get to play either AAA's or I never get to play indie games,
absolutely,
you would say
get rid of AAA's.
I'll sack off the AAA's. Yeah. I can understand you saying that. Yeah,
because of financial reasons.
Financial reasons never stopped me, buddy.
Nice.
Right, okay, we're moving on to the people of Twitter now who responded. So thank you very much if you responded to this, but we got some good ones here. But somebody who is in agreement with one of yours, Eddie, Scott said he's never been fussed by Nintendo games. So, this is the thing. Like, if you're not a Switch owner, then I can see that being the case.
Here we go.
I can understand it. That's fine. But as soon as you get a Switch, or if you have played Nintendo consoles in the past, maybe from the game Nintendo 64 onwards was probably they're the franchises that you can really get behind. I don't know. Yeah, but.
It's one of those that if I bought a Switch, I would love every game because my brain would go, you've just spent so much money on a fucking Switch that you're going to enjoy this.
Yes, absolutely. And you know what? You'd enjoy them more than you thought you would.
Yeah, I think I would. There's a lot of games that are on the Switch that I go, oh, that looks like it would be fun.
Bayonetta.
Okay, right. fine. Next one, I'll go. Danny Shergill. I'm going to upset so many people tonight. It's the fact that I'm not good at reading people. It's not the fact that I don't know how to pronounce people's names. God of War 2018 was really overrated and carried by the banter between Kratos.
Sorry, I've written that wrong.
That's Kratos, right? It's supposed to be Kratos, right?
Yeah, but I've just typed it in.
Oh, thank fuck for that! I just thought I'd been saying it wrong the whole. Kratos and Arceus.
Atreus.
Arceus.
I've just written it wrong, I think.
You couldn't have written both of them wrong.
Is that how you spell it? I thought it was Atreus.
You can tell I've never played God of War.
Kratos and Atreus, yeah.
You've spelled both the names wrong.
Yeah, I just wrote it wrong and got you to read it, yeah.
Fuck's sake. What do you think of that, Ben?
I do think it was overrated. I don't think it was carried by the banter, but I do think it was a good game.
All right, so you thought it was good, but it was really overrated because everyone said how fucking world class it was.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
That's all right. Yeah. Next one, Richard Frutal. Yeah, that looks right.
Fuck's sake.
But he said he doesn't see himself gaming in 20 to 30 years, despite gaming for 60 plus hours a week currently. Now, my immediate thought was was 60 plus hours currently in a week. That's how long. That's how much he games. He's putting in some serious time.
I don't know. How many hours do I play a week? I mean,
go on.
I think during the daytime, probably 2. Evening,
yeah. You were in a weird situation where
so 7 times 5, so that's 35.
Does that count?
I don't really play on Saturdays, do I? Because I'm not allowed. Sundays,
no, you're not allowed to.
I play for a good. That could be a 10-hour job there. So yeah. Oh no, I reckon about 45 hours. Yeah, wow.
Even then, you're only at 45.
Yeah,
this kid's putting in time.
No, there you go. He's a real gamer, unless, of course.
But he doesn't see himself gaming in 20, 30 years. Now, I hope I would. How old would I be?
That's a really interesting one. I would like to know why. Richard Frutal, Can you please tell us why? Do you think it's because you'll be dead? In that case, fair enough.
That's it.
Or do you think because the gaming industry is declining? Because that'll be a very interesting point. What do you do, Ben? 20 and 30 years' time?
I would like to think so. It depends how gaming evolves. If it evolves to full Ready Player One, then I don't think so.
This is why, Ben, I think I'm at advantage here. Because I'm a gamer who loves to chuck 1,000 hours into games that are literally replayable. So, for example, in 20 to 30 years, I can easily see myself going back to my Warbands, to my RimWorlds, to my Warhammer Total Wars, and just playing the shit out of them on
Yes, and I'll still be chasing the dopamine hit of getting a new AAA.
Yes.
I'm putting my back out by playing Ready Player One style.
Yeah, you would not be able to play too much because of your back.
Yeah, listeners, I do have a glass back. That's, if I was in RimWorld, my trait would be glass back.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
It is what it is. Right.
Yeah, next one. Boxenberger. Kojima is the most overrated gaming creator. Okay, I'll see myself out. Wow, that's quite a big one, isn't it?
That is quite a big one.
He probably is, to be fair, he's probably the biggest gaming creator. He's probably the most famous, right?
Yes, and for that reason, maybe he may be almost overrated by default, because people will always big him up more than the thing is, he is so highly rated.
Oh, absolutely.
It's almost impossible for him to be underrated. It's almost impossible for him to be correctly rated. The most likely outcome is that he's overrated.
Jesus Christ.
But I after that man did Death Stranding, he's undisputed in my opinion.
Out of all the amazing games that he's made, and you go to that one, that's insane.
Yes.
Oh, you should be ashamed of yourself. Huh?
Nope. Boxenberger should be. Right, moving on. Kirk said that he's not going to be on the podcast, obviously, but he said Zelda is overrated, and then he put in brackets all of them. To which I queried and said, I thought you enjoyed Wind Waker.
Yeah.
And I also think that's the only Zelda he's played.
Yes, I thought it was as well, yeah.
Yes, and he said, yes, he enjoyed it, but overrated, and he's applied that to all of them. I think we can all agree that this is another Dead Space moment. So.
Oh, I do love Kirk's opinions. I do. He's a good chap.
And he's not here to defend himself, so that's even better.
Oh, dear. Oh,
right.
Very good. Right, I'll go next. Brando Calrissian. Carizia. There you go.
Yep.
Brando Calrissian. There you go. You can write to complain at Grumpy Gamers at something.
No, moving on. Yeah.
Modern games that are retro are meh.
You say this, don't you, Eddie?
I do.
Like this.
I don't know who this Brando is, but he's got a good head on his shoulders. Fucking smart guy. Yeah.
If I know Brando,
if I know Brando, my favourite Italian. You're right. Retro games. Oh, this is based on retro. Oh, it's got 90s vibes. Yeah, they're not good. People stop buying them.
Agreed.
Wow, you agreed as well. Okay.
Yeah, I do think they're meh.
Wow, Brando, there you go. Your unpopular opinion was
right. This is a big one. Okay.
Go on.
So this is from John. He said, Red Dead Redemption is the only good game that Rockstar have made. Now, I'll take issue with this. That the first, I can only hope that he is talking about the first Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, see that's where this is hugely different, because for the record, before you continue, I loved the first one.
Same.
Oh, brilliant.
Same.
Oh, brilliant. Excellent.
We're in agreement. Yeah, we're in agreement. So yeah, and then. I'll just follow up with this next one. Trekaholic also said GTA games are overrated. So look, there are people out there like us. I think GTA games are overrated, and I think Red Dead Redemption 2 is overrated. I never played Bully, but I do think that Rockstar games control awfully. I think their movement is so out of date, it's crazy. And I almost don't get it. Like, I can understand Red Dead Redemption 2 with the story stuff, that's great, but I don't really get the GTA games. I don't know why they're so
I love them. I absolutely love them. I think they're really, really good. I think there's so many different mechanics that they could incorporate it to make it an absolute world-class game. But I wholeheartedly agree with Trekaholic. I think I enjoy them and I like them, but my God, they're praised as world beaters, aren't they? I mean, GTA 5 is the stats on that. The success of that game is insane.
I liked Vice City when I was a child.
Oh yeah. Actually, you know what? I think I'd probably like it because I played the originals when I was younger. You remember? Is it Grand Theft Auto 1 and 2, and then London? I think it was.
3 was, and then 3 was the time when the time when it went actual 3D. That was amazing when I played it first time at a friend's house, and that was fucking awesome. Yeah. Vice City was great, but I don't know whether for me the GTA games were good when I was a kid. But as an adult, meh.
Yeah,
it's just what I think.
I like them, but yes, completely agree they're overrated.
Yeah,
absolutely. All right, next, Decoy Snake. Great name, buddy. PlayStation will be fine without Call of Duty.
Agreed.
Yes, actually agreed.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I love PlayStation. I love Xbox. I love Nintendo. I love all of them. But what I will say is that I think PlayStation can do absolutely fucking nothing and would still technically win this generation.
Jesus Christ.
I think PlayStation could just carry on, release some exclusive, and I think they would still sell the most consoles. I don't think the Activision deal is going to do what everyone thinks it's going to do. I don't think Call of Duty will be this, especially there's 3 more years on the thing, so the majority of PlayStations and Xboxes will be bought before that deal runs out. Like, so it's not going to have the effect on this generation. Going to next generation, PlayStation will still technically be the dominant force going to next generation because they'll have more sales.
And you never know, Call of Duty could fall on its ass.
Absolutely,
Like,
absolutely.
Every
All it
single,
can, yeah.
Like, there are so. If I looked back 3 years ago, I liked Just Cause. I like Battlefield.
Far Cry. You're all into
Far Cry. Fucking loved Far Cry. Still haven't played the new one.
Yeah, absolutely. This happens, and Call of Duty. I mean, once it comes under the Microsoft banner, you think they'll be putting everything into it and all that kind of stuff. So you think it will have legs, but stranger things have happened, and I don't know. I think PlayStation will be absolutely fine as well. Decoy Snake.
Agreed. Well done, Decoy Snake.
Bonds Pop, great name as well.
Great names.
So he came out of a weird theory. He said, so Sony will be forced to sell off the PlayStation brand. I think this is in a few years. I think this is later into at the end of the generation. Sony will be forced to sell off the PlayStation brand. Microsoft will be the only company able and willing to buy it, and they will merge all titles with Xbox. The future next-gen console will be branded as PlayStation Xbox. I mean, that is outlandish.
That's huge. That's a huge goal. If this pans out, we need to get some lottery tickets off Bonds Pop.
Yeah, I mean, this is more of like a unpopular prediction rather than an unpopular opinion.
Or a very unlikely prediction, I think. We should have a feature on that.
Absolutely, and we've just discussed how, because the next 3 years after the completion of that deal, I don't think it will affect too much in terms of console sales. For PlayStation to really drop off a cliff in like the last year or something would be quite something. But
something big's going to happen at Sony, I think.
Oh, I can only... This is big.
Big.
Look forward to it, buddy.
Oh, dear. Next one. Oh, fuck me, I'm going to get this wrong. Raphael Oppenheimer.
Yeah, Oppenheimer, yeah.
Wow. I think that's actually right. Well done, Chris. Video games Pete at Asteroids.
Love it.
I don't know if that's Raphael saying video games are shit.
I can only assume. How I rationalised this was like, because there was nothing really before it, like that was such a big hype jump. So the hype for Asteroids must have been out of this world. Whereas because there have been games after Asteroids, the hype for the next game just isn't that big a jump.
Right. Okay, that's
I've changed what he said.
Yeah, because that's definitely not what he meant.
No, it's not what he said. Yeah, it's not what he said. It's not what he meant.
Oh, yeah. No, I like this. This is a grumpy gamer. That's what I like. Welcome to the club.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Right. Moving on to our last couple now. So Ryan Repulsive said, yes, he said this is an actual considered one. Wish there was more single player or cooperative focused story driven games. Competitive multiplayer games do not interest me at all, and the addition of Battle Royale games and adding in Battle Royale into multiplayer or sometimes single player needs to stop.
Ryan, I'm very glad you said this. I could not agree more. It's funny because I do play multiplayer games, and I do play Battle Royale games. I play 2 of them, to be precise. But if you went back a few years, you would have heard me at every single time I drank a beer completely agreeing with you. Like, I think what multiplayer games have done to the industry have damaged it. It was when Fallout released Fallout 76. And I went, what the fuck is happening to the gaming industry that they're focusing on this multiplayer? They're not focusing on the single player. They're not focusing on story with a good mechanical game. And it's fucking everything up.
Yes, but then if Starfield comes out next year and it's an absolute banger, then you can't say that it's harming it.
But what happens if they bring it out with multiplayer elements, man? And then you're going to have people driving their ship into your ship and running around and all this.
I think Ryan does have a point, because I do wish there were, because we generally get like a couple of these like real top single player games that come out each year. I do like a cooperative focused story. You know, I'm gonna forget all the names now. So with brothers and the one breaking out of the prison, A Way Out, and then It Takes Two. I know those all by the same people, but those kind of cooperative, story-focused games where you sit on the same fucking sofa, like, I like that.
I don't have anyone
you have to
with.
work together. No, well, actually, yeah, gone are the days of university, actually. But yeah, it's but even over the internet, it's like, I do like co-op games, but multiplayer games are the live service games are where the money is. If they hit them, I do think live service games will kind of go down. You're going to get less third-party ones because Sony have really pushed the first-party ones. They're going to be coming out all the time. But live service games, if they hit, they make so much money. But if they don't and they miss, I think they just lose everything. So I think it's like the massive gamble. But yeah, so multiplayer games, live service games, battle royales. I'd like to think that battle royales have kind of reached their peak at the moment. I think.
So you think there'll be less of them?
I do, yeah, because I think we've got some really good ones out, and they aren't dying. And everyone that tries to come out, they don't really permeate the market.
Yeah, like that Golf Rocket League one.
Yeah, there's loads of them that have come out. We looked at the one in new releases last week as well. It's like, right, okay, whatever.
Yeah, fair enough.
Right.
Yeah. The False Shepherd. What's with these? The False Shepherd and the Decoy Snake. Do you reckon they're friends?
It's great names.
Yeah. Nier, Final Fantasy, and Death Stranding suck ass. What's Nier?
Like Nier and Nier Automata and.
Oh right, that yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I think that's harsh on Final Fantasy. I think
it's harsh on Death Stranding. I think we can all conclude, and I agree with you, Eddie, that Death Stranding is amazing.
No. In fact, a lot of people said it was pretty bad.
I hear what you're saying. I heard it. That's fine.
A lot of people said it was very bad. They said Walking Simulator, actually.
Pretty sure I love simulators.
It doesn't make a good game then.
So yeah, but yeah, unpopular opinion there. Final Fantasy. There's loads of people out there going, I love Final Fantasy. I've never really been into Final Fantasy.
How about 7?
Not really. I like the remake was alright.
The Part 1 remake. Yeah, absolutely love. Oh god,
I know. I think it was a lot of people of our age, their entry into playing RPGs.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think it was their entry point, so I think that's why people loved it, on PlayStation and what have you. It's a real big entry point. But anyway, the last one from those from Twitter, Jon Snow 117. That is a juxtaposition, isn't it?
You know nothing, Jon Snow. Let me say that right now. You're welcome. Yeah.
Anyone?
You're welcome. Do you have to pay anyone to use that line? Is that a royalties sort of thing?
I hope not. Anyone okay with Nintendo releasing each Pokemon game as 2 separate full-price games has Stockholm syndrome? I think that is a brilliant comment because it's so fucking true. Like, can you imagine another game coming out that, right, let me just paint this picture for you, this little word picture. I'm going to release the game twice, 2 different versions of the game, and one of which is going to have some content, and the other's going to have the other content. And to get all the content, you need to buy 2 games.
Oh dear! It's what? Pokemon. They can do whatever they want.
Jesus Christ!
And people will always pay it. So.
It's so true. Fucking voice acting.
Oh dear me. I like these comments because I reckon every single one of these has pissed off a hell of a lot of people.
But that one, Unpopular opinion would be something like, Pokemon doesn't need voice acting. That's not our opinion.
I really wish someone put that one in.
Right, but thank you again to everyone that did comment, because that is we enjoyed reading those. That's pretty cool. And we have run very long, Eddie. We've run Pete is going to be fucking furious. He's going to be absolutely furious. Right?
Oh shit!
Yeah, it's a longie. It's a longie. Right. Okay. If you would like to email us, point out anything we've got wrong and such, podcast@grumpygamers.co.uk. You can tweet us at grumpygamerspod. YouTube, Grumpy Gamers Podcast. We put the pod up there. We put some other things up there. And we are streaming on Twitch, 7 p.m. every Thursdays, our Twitch and YouTube. And our Twitch is Grumpy Gamers Podcast, all one word. We will be continuing Dead Space 2 on Twitch this week. And I think that's going to be our third or fourth stream. So, yeah, we're cracking on with that game. But, yes, that was a goodie. So, until next time, it's GG.
GG.